Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Spirit Box Sessions. I'm your host and the leader of this YouTube channel, Sophia. Hello.
Hello, and I'm Emily, and show up to Spirit Box Sessions to help out.
Amazing. So if you're new here, the purpose of this podcast is to talk about our favorite films, our favorite horror movies, and look at them from different lenses as per our background. I'm a film major, and I specialized in international horror and extremist film.
Cool. And I am Sophia's older sister. I'm currently working on my PhD, and my background in research comes from psychology and criminology and sociology. And what are we here today for? Actually, Sophia was the one that picked the movie for today, so...
Listen, guys, I'm excited for this one. The film of today is none other than Eli Roth's Thanksgiving.
Woo! Welcome to the table.
All will be carved.
That's why we're filming at the table today.
Get it?
Yeah. Ha. Perfect.
Wow.
If you haven't watched the movie, maybe click off now and go watch it and come back, because there is going to be a ton of spoilers. Just going to be pretty clear on that. We're going to jump right into the background summary of the movie. So again, if you don't want any spoilers, maybe don't watch this part. So during the Black Friday sale in a Right Mart store on Thanksgiving in Plymouth, Massachusetts, can't say that, but we nailed it, a stampede occurs which causes the death of some customers, a security guard, and the wife of the store owner. The teenagers in the store take a video of the chaos, which is posted online. Now we see 1 year later. Right Mark is planning to have another Black Friday sale despite protests from the town and the previous store owner. We are introduced to the killer, John Carver, who wears the mask of the town founder to kill the people who were at the Black Friday sale the previous year. The sheriff believes that he needs to identify who are at the store as they are being hunted down by the killer. The Wright family, who own the Wright Mart, are asked to participate in the annual parade to draw out the killer, but they are captured by the killer and brought to an unknown location. Jessica Wright, the daughter, manages to escape and flees into the forest to avoid the killer. It isn't until the police rescue the family when Jessica realizes that the killer is the town sheriff, which she surmises based on the bramble debris on his clothes and shoes. The sheriff admits his plan of revenge as his wife and unborn baby were killed during the Black Friday sale, and unknown to him, his admission is shared over social media live. The viewer is led to believe that the sheriff is killed in a fire, but even Jessica is unsure if he's actually killed. So, pretty cool plot twist to that movie, actually. I did not personally see that the sheriff was going to be the killer at the end.
No, nobody predicted that Patrick Dempsey McDreamy was the real villain in this all. I was actually guessing. I think Eli Roth actually did a really good job at kind of diverting our attention off of him. I don't know, or maybe just the casting choice was so good. Like, I wouldn't have pictured him to be the villain. Mm-hmm. Really. So, good on him.
Well, it didn't make any sense for him to be the villain because you didn't know the motive until the very end.
Yeah.
Right? So knowing that, the person he was seeing and the unborn baby were killed during the Black Friday sale, that adds an extra level of, okay, I understand, why this person would be the killer, and it's not oh, we're just gonna pick someone out of a hat and, hope it fits the narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I don't know about you, but me personally, I have, 3 broad themes, and then maybe we can kind of see where it works together. Sure. I've got, Black Friday and corporate greed, the Thanksgiving tradition, and vegetarianism, so we can kind of see where that goes.
Yeah, sure. I think I always look at it from a cultural lens, because I find that, at least in my film studies, horror films especially is a lens into the real world. A lot of it is metaphors. It always leads back to our culture, why a movie is made. So I have some stuff about Black Friday and corporate greed as well, if you want to start there.
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's start there. So, just generally speaking, when you look at Black Friday, there's actually a website that's called Black Friday Deaths, which is absolutely insane that you need to have a website and tally counter for this. But in the last 12 years, we know that there's 44 separate incidents, Black Friday incidents, which resulted in 11 deaths and 108 injuries in the US. 2008 was the first Black Friday death that was recorded, and it was a Walmart employee that was trampled to death in Long Island, which, I mean, is kind of showed in this film, right? The security guard being trampled right at the very beginning, I guess pays homage to that 2008 incident.
Oh my god, which is so crazy. For all, if you're a Canadian watching this, we do have Black Friday, but it's definitely not as prominent as in America. We just kind of have like little sales. So hearing this across the border it's crazy.
It's insane.
Because even our Boxing Day sales, we don't trample people in Walmarts for our $50 off an electronic.
Absolutely. That's absolutely wild to me. So that got me thinking, actually. And I was like, so why is Black Friday so popular? Like, what's going on? I don't understand the appeal. You don't understand the appeal. So when I was looking at research behind why people, get so gung-ho about Black Friday, it kind of comes down to 3 or 4 ideas. The first one is FOMO, so the fear of missing out. People are getting deals and you're not. The scarcity principle. So we saw this during the pandemic and the toilet paper hoarding that was going on. If people believe that something is less available, people want to stock up on it. So that's an interesting way to think about it. The next one would be limited time offers create urgency. If you know that something's going to be at a reduced price for a short period of time, people want to capitalize on that price. And of course that feeds into the FOMO too. Another factor could be an escape from family during the holidays. Not a lot of people like to be around their family for extended period of time, and especially the holidays are already big stressor. So it could be a reason why to go to the store and forget that you have to interact with your family. And then all this can be connected more broadly to the dopamine hormone. And what I mean by that is, these are the hormones that make you feel good, right? You want to shop, you want to win, you want to get that deal, you want to show your friends what you were able to get. So that's kind of where my brain went when I was first thinking about this, and I'm like, why is this such a big deal? Why are people going to the mall? Like, the sales aren't even that good sometimes.
No, they really aren't, and especially recently where people have even showed that they're literally just putting the same price with a different sticker on it.
Right?
Which is so crazy, and people are falling for it. Which goes along with your corporate greed point.
Totally.
So, something that actually stuck with me in one of Eli Roth's interviews was, so he didn't actually have a plan to make this Thanksgiving movie. When he did the Grindhouse original trailer for the Grindhouse movie, he was afraid to make this film because he didn't have a motive. He didn't have a reason. But then he reflected on kind of what he sees in his society, and I thought this was really interesting. So he said, people need Black Friday sales because they're not being paid enough money because of minimum wage and rates are not matching the price of inflation. People are forced into these gladiator games because for some, it's the only chance they have to afford the gifts their kids want. It's the greed at the top that's the real problem. So him saying that is huge because right off the bat there, yeah, we see this ridiculous, crazy scene. There's pandemonium, 3-second cuts. It's just nuts, but and he is parroting in a way, but at the same time it is sad because we are seeing this corporate greed. A lot of people are probably there because you're right, they can't afford the products that are on the shelves originally, and I think that's the sadder part of society that this horror movie is kind of based around.
No, that's a great quote. I didn't think about it in that way, but it's a very valid point because you're right. with minimum wage the rate that it is and inflation at like an all-time high, it certainly makes sense. And even in the movie, the CEO of the company is hosting Thanksgiving dinner and has the store open so people could go and shop, and the store owner has to go and work. And they're related or friends, that wasn't clear to me. But then the store owner's wife gets killed in all of this chaos, right? So yeah, of course, if you're the CEO, you can stay at home, have a cushy dinner, and everyone is like basically fighting for their lives in this store.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I do like that he came out and addressed that, because I think making a horror movie around something like this, there's a difference between doing it because it's funny and then doing it to actually make a statement, which I think is brilliant that he chose that direction.
Totally, yeah. But, I mean, also with that point, like in this day and age, we see that Black Fridays are not as popular as they used to be in the past. And the reason for that is because of online shopping. People don't want to brace the crowds. They don't want to stand in line. Items are out of stock anyways, or for the most part, like it's limited stock. There's that pressure to buy quickly and impulsively, which leads people to overspend. So to your point with, people already living on minimum wage, if not even less, you don't want to go out to the store and spend all your money. You want to be a little bit more, stick to your budget, stick to your plan.
Right, exactly. I definitely agree. Even offering the free waffle iron, like... as ridiculous as it is, that could be a huge difference for a family, right?
Totally, yeah.
And it's being played as a joke, but it's a really sad reality for a lot of Americans and Canadians, right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I did have another quote by him.
Yeah, go for it.
So he was also talking about that he loves holiday horror movies. Mm-hmm. Like Silent Night, Deadly Night, Violent Night.
The best Christmas movie.
The best Christmas movie of all time.
No notes.
And I like what he said here. It's the perversion of the holiday that we all sit around our dinner table and act thankful and then run out and kill each other for waffle irons.
Okay, that's an interesting quote, because even if we look at the inception and creation of Thanksgiving, it's built on a cultural genocide and just a genocide of people. So, like, arguably, we've kind of come full circle.
We have, in a very sad way.
Yeah. Because that actually kind of comes to my second main theme that I wanted to talk about, and this is the Thanksgiving tradition, right? Why was Thanksgiving created? And I like how the fact that he uses this as a perversion of the holiday, but this holiday has already been tainted right at the very beginning. I have a quote from, this is going to be a surprise to you.
Oh, God.
I have a quote from Wednesday Addams, from Addams Family Values, the movie.
I love that.
Because I think this summarizes it very well. So the quote is,
oh my God.
"We cannot break bread with you. You have taken the land which is rightfully ours. Years from now, my people will be forced to live in mobile homes on reservations. Your people will wear cardigans and drink highballs. We will sell our bracelets by the roadsides. You will play golf and enjoy hot hors d'oeuvres. My people will have pain and degradation. Your people will have stick shifts. The gods of my tribe have spoken. They have said, do not trust the pilgrims. For all these reasons, I have decided to scalp you and burn your village to the ground." So, yes, this is in a family movie. Yes, this is a Thanksgiving play. But I like this quote because, so Wednesday in this movie plays, does she play, what's the person she's trying to play?
A tribe leader of some sort,
an indigenous tribe leader. And so she says this, basically saying and advocating for her people to be like, no, like, don't come here. Because as we know, like, the history of Thanksgiving is the eradication of indigenous peoples. These thousands were killed, wounded, captured, sold into slavery. It was built on colonization.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And like, even with the original Thanksgiving would be, I think, what is a pagan? Is it it's not a harvest moon. It's something. I know there's something in the pagan calendar that's not Thanksgiving, but turned into Thanksgiving when the Catholics took over.
Yeah.
But even so, then it's like, it's a holiday that doesn't belong to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is.
Essentially.
And I mean, the fact that people on the Mayflower, so I did some more research on John Carver, too.
Yes.
Because I was like, who is this man?
I had no idea he was actually a real person. I was like, that's kind of funny. His name's Carver. No, he was a real person.
He was a real person. So he was one of the pilgrims who were on the Mayflower voyage in 1620. And this resulted in the colony of Plymouth in America. So he was the first governor of the Plymouth colony, and he was the man who, I'm going to put this in quotes, negotiated peace with the Native American community, and this community is called People of the First Light in their language. I put that in quotes because, I'm sorry, how did you negotiate peace with this indigenous community after thousands were killed, wounded, captured, and sold into slavery? So right there, this town already has a kind of shady history, if that's how you're building your colony.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
And you can read so many books on colonization and decolonization, which is more of the lens that we should be approaching things, especially with the Truth and Reconciliation and the 94 calls to action that we should be, all of us, striving towards to reconcile with what has happened in history and writing that relationship we have with Indigenous peoples.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's the thing, it all goes back to, you're right, so we're supposed to sit at this table and be thankful for the people we murdered to get here. Mm-hmm. Black Friday and Thanksgiving, there's actually such polar opposites. One is family, thankfulness. The other one is mega consumerism, power to the corporate entity. And you're like, what? How did it end up like this? I mean, really, every holiday has ended up like this with corporate greed, but Thanksgiving is just such an extreme example.
Absolutely. I don't know if you noticed this, but in the movie, I was like, oh, that's such an interesting choice. So when the store owner's wife gets killed in the mob, do you remember what happens to her?
Which death is she?
She's like one of the first ones. So her hair gets caught in the wheel.
Oh, in the wheel of the
cart, and
okay.
she basically gets scalped.
Yeah.
Which, going back to the quote, but I mean, that happened to Indigenous folks too, right? But wow, like I don't know where that idea came from for Eli Roth, but it's pretty on the nose to what Wednesday Addams said. That's all I'm saying.
That is a good point. I would not have caught that. I just thought it was Eli Roth being like, what can I use in the store to kill people?
I mean, that's fair too. The, what is the cart? The cart is kind of like the least scary thing you could have chosen.
That's so true. I wasn't really sure about that one, but I don't know, man. It's Eli Roth. Just thumbs up.
So this one's a little bit off the wall. Kind of a half-baked thought, in my opinion. But I thought I'd bring it up just because I couldn't really find any research on this, and I think it's an interesting direction to have a conversation on. And this is kind of goes with, there's a scene in the movie where the killer roasts the stepmother in the oven and then serves her on a platter like a turkey. Again, spoilers. It is very uncomfortably long, I would say, that scene. It doesn't need to be, but Eli Roth, you do you. Power to you.
Great.
Hugs are available.
Good. A lot of practical effects in this movie, so
yes.
That was fun to see.
Absolutely. But that got me thinking, because that's essentially critiquing the turkey aspect of Thanksgiving. And if we're looking at it, the ethics behind eating turkey. So it got me thinking about vegetarianism and the parallels that we have with cannibalism. So I know that's a little bit of a stretch, but what I mean by that is the husband is forced to slice a piece of her leg and consume it, right? And everyone's like, oh my god, this is the worst. He vomits. It's like a thing. And as a viewer, you're supposed to have that same reaction of like, oh my god, this is disgusting. What am I watching? Which is fair because, you know, you're eating a human being. But similarly, there's vegetarians that would advocate that that would be no different than actually eating a turkey on the table too.
That's a good point.
What are your thoughts on that?
That's
I don't know.
weird and interesting. Well, my first initial thought when I saw that was Eli Roth has a strange obsession with cannibalism.
Fair enough.
If you watch his other film, The Green Inferno, you would be like, what's going through his mind these days?
Fair enough. Man needs a hug.
Seriously. I just think the symbolism of the turkey in the whole film is just wild because there's that scene, but there's also that giant. Well, first of all, there's the turkey mascot getting beheaded.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then at the end, when Patrick Dempsey is gonna be blown up in this giant thing of flames, what blows him up? This giant turkey filled with gas. So you're sitting here going, what does it mean? Like, there's gotta be something to this.
And that's interesting because I was reading some research on this and a dissertation came up from a PhD candidate and she basically wrote a whole paper on the turkey, Thanksgiving as a whole, but the turkey as a sexualized being. And she references Eli Roth's original trailer, right, where the turkey gets beheaded, and of course it's a very different trailer than what the movie kind of comes to be, but she draws these parallels too about the sexualization of the turkey and like the knife as a phallus, and it's a very interesting paper. I just briefly read it, but it's interesting to bring that up as well.
That is a huge thing because there's a lot of things in the original trailer too that would prove that, like the girl when she's jumping on the trampoline, I believe the knife originally goes right
exactly
right through her almost. I don't think that happened. It happened differently in the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really interesting creative choice as well.
Yeah. And in that dissertation also talks about that scene specifically as well. That's why they draw the parallel between the knife and the phallus. Yeah. And like the fact in the trailer too, the turkey gets stabbed and blood comes out as if like it's not supposed to be a baked turkey. Yeah. So stuff like that. Weird. Very weird.
Very strange. I know, like Eli Roth does something really interesting of like blending that like 90s scream slasher humor with a modern day slasher. So sometimes it's really hard to look into what he's actually trying to say.
Yeah.
Or if he's just being like, if he's taking aspects from, you know, what we saw in the 80s and 90s and kind of making fun of them in a way.
Yeah. It was a good movie. Overall, I think I enjoyed it. I've watched it twice already. I have a fun fact.
What do you mean? You gonna take my fun facts away from me?
No, I have a fun fact that I need to share with the audience.
Okay. Share.
I know someone who was in this film.
No way.
Yeah.
This is actually my first fun fact.
Whoa. Oh my god. Tell me your fun fact.
Fun fact number 1. I was in this film. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Twice. I was in this film. Twice. And then I put in brackets, show picture of me and Eli Roth. So here's a picture of me and Eli Roth. Yes, I met him. It was great. I won't end on that. I'll expand. So, the entirety of Thanksgiving, actually, I think every scene was filmed here in Canada, most notably Toronto and the surrounding areas. So I did 2 scenes. I was actually in, the first scene that I was in was the Black Friday scene. I was in the madness. I saw the scalping. I saw the security guard getting absolutely decimated. I saw all the deaths, and we sat near the prop bodies as they kind of switched around the practical effects and whatnot. That was a crazy. That was, I think, 4 nights in a real store. This wasn't a set. It was a real discount, like, I don't even know what it was. It was just a discount store that sold everything. We all bought shoes there at the end of the night. And yeah, there was like, I want to say there was probably 400 of us.
Holy cow.
To start off, as we were all going into the, what is Right Mart?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it was in the film. As we're all going into the Right Mart, yeah, there was about 400 of us. And then as we got closer into the night, or like later on into the shoot, there ended up only being like maybe 50 or 60 of us that was like pushing down the security guard. And then we also worked with the stunt team because like the core people surrounding, I think it's Milo. Is that Milo that's standing on the counter with the phone?
I think so,
Milo.
yeah.
I don't know his show name, actor name Milo. He's standing with the camera, and it's the stunt team, and then we're all around, and we are like the 80s are like screaming at us. They're like, "Get that waffle iron! Like, get in!" And Eli Roth was hyping us up. He's like, "You're gonna go in there, you're gonna get those waffle irons." Like there was no... It was crazy. I don't even think Milo had lines. Like, Eli Roth would just like scream things at him, and he would just repeat whatever Eli Roth said. He's like, "Swear more! Swear more!" and that was the scene. And then the second scene was the parade scene where the mascot got beheaded, but I wasn't there the day that the mascot got beheaded. Obviously filming takes a long time, so I was only there for when everything was like nice, like the good day of the parade. I was a volunteer and I marshaled the floats.
I swear I did see you in that Black Friday scene. So Sophia's stealing a TV.
Yeah.
And like it's just a brief second, but I swear to God I saw you. But we'll have to find a clip of you doing that.
I'll have to find it. A lot of the people that I was in the film with were able to eventually find themselves, but because of like the cuts are so fast,
yeah,
you have to slow down the whole section to find it. And we're just throwing stuff. Like, there was no rules. There was no rules on this set. There was like 4 ADs for like 400 people, and you just it was a free-for-all.
Well, I mean, you kind of want to emulate a Black Friday sale, and I think they did a very good job of that, because it was just pandemonium, it looked like, and the way that you're describing set, it was just basically, go in there, grab whatever you can, and then, okay guys, we're going to reset, and you're going to do that all again. Like, I couldn't even imagine, like, you gotta remember what you did.
No, honestly, 10 hours, and then they're like, okay, so you're going to do this task, then you're going to run out the door, and then an AD is just going to shove you back in, and you're just gonna go steal something else.
Perfect.
And we didn't know, like, some things were props and some things were actually a part of the store, but it was so crazy that people were just taking anything. And then the employees were there that night because obviously they didn't want anybody to steal anything, and they had to close up and clean up and whatever. So employees were being like, no, that's ours. And we would be like running out the store with all these items, like,
that's wild.
Like, the only rule was don't get hurt. Like,
wild.
I have never I've filmed many things now in my lifetime, but that set was something else. It was something else. And the thing that I will say about Eli Roth, just as a person, was I've never actually worked with a director so personable. He, like, I don't know, maybe he just has a cult following, but like, people were like chanting his name on the day of the parade scene.
Oh wow.
Like, he was just so, but not that he was like reveling in it, but he was just so like, he would give us directions directly. Usually an AD would come in and do that, and we wouldn't even interact much with the director. But like, he pulled out a megaphone, he was directing us, he was thanking us every chance he could get. Like, it was crazy. Fans came from kind of around the area to wait for him after filming, and he stayed and talked to every single one of them.
Wow.
Which was pretty, mad respect. After, a 13, 14, 16-hour day of filming, he still had the energy and time to do that. So I will say good on him for that.
Yo, oh my goodness. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Very, very cool guy.
Yeah, honestly. Oh yeah, do you want my other 2 fun facts really quick?
Keep going.
Okay. Second fun fact. Okay, so there was a cat in this movie.
Oh, cute.
Do you remember? I don't remember. It was like that bigger guy. When John Carver comes to his house and the cat's there.
The security guard. Yeah.
Okay, but the security guard. So the cat was such a good actor.
Yes, agreed.
That Eli Roth named him Leonardo DiCaprio. But this wasn't the cat's first acting gig. This cat's had more acting gigs than me. No, I'm just kidding. His real name is Tonic, and he starred in Pet Sematary.
Whoa, that's really cool. I had no idea. When I was watching the movie with our cousins, the cat scene, so the security guard, he's gonna get killed because like the mood changes and all that, and all of a sudden he's like, who's there? And the cat's in the kitchen, and like the cat keeps looking off to the side, so that this guy's gonna get killed. But immediately Marina's like, does the cat die? And I'm like, trust me, no, the cat doesn't die. And they're like, okay, thank God. And so the security guard gets killed, and then John Carver goes to leave, and he like does the double back and then goes and feeds the cat. Like Marina and all the cousins were cheering. I was like, oh my God. They're like, he's not so bad of a guy. I was like, oh my God.
No, but you know what's so funny with that? Because Eli Roth also said that in an interview where he said that when he was like 13, 14 years old, he would watch movies, and he said he couldn't stand when like you'd see a pet in the house, and then he would say it would bother him the whole rest of the film, and he would think about who's taking care of these animals.
Oh, that's sweet.
So in this film, he kind of like...
Well, they also explicitly say, too, oh, whatever lady from the other floor is going to come down and feed you in a couple of days. So he literally just needed to feed him, and then the other lady's going to come in, right? That's so funny.
Like, okay, Eli. All right.
I love how that is his traumatic experience. Is the pets okay?
Is the pets okay? The third fun fact is kind of going to be, I guess, more for you, but I guess I will explain the situation. Like I said, majority of this movie was filmed around us. Actually, like, very, very close to us. And when I say that, one of the scenes was filmed at Waterdown District High School, which I will not disclose our location, but that is very close to us. In fact, both of us worked at that high school at one point, or at least volunteered there. So this was just kind of wild. It was, first of all, it was eerie to see a school that he would have been in, in a movie. That's just kind of crazy on its own.
That's true, yeah.
So this high school has a cosmetology lab, and it's so creepy. When I went there in the summer, and like all the lights are off, that's a horror movie by itself right there. But it's filled with mannequin heads, if you remember the scene, and there's all this crazy weird stuff in there. And that whole scene, that whole sequence was not in the film. It was not scripted. It did not exist. Eli Roth, on location, walked into this room and went, "What the hell is this?"
Perfect.
And said, "I'm gonna put this in my movie."
Oh, that's wild.
So without a script or anything, the cosmetology of room of Waterdown District High School became inspiration for him.
That's crazy. Because you're right, like, that is such a scary spot of the school. And, like, it's really eerie to see the school and even the outside of the building, because, like, we drove by it so many times, too, to be like, oh my God, this is a little surreal, right? And actually, when we went to the theaters together to see it, the whole line in front of us were all students from the school, and we're like, oh my god, this is really weird, and they were like, whoa, and we're like, oh, whoa, and like, it was a group bonding experience.
As I said, I mean, like, at least Eli Roth, he'll definitely get his money back from all the background people that he had.
You all went to the theaters. Yeah. Perfect.
A lot of places actually film in Hamilton.
Yeah.
And seeing those streets as America is so crazy.
It's so funny. Who is it? Guillermo del Toro loves Hamilton too.
Guillermo del Toro.
So maybe we could do a video of his in the future, because you're right, like, seeing Hamilton, you're like, wait a second, I know that place. I drive on that road. What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah. There is something called Prodigal Son that has begun filming.
The show?
No, I believe it's Guillermo del Toro's take on Frankenstein.
Oh, because I think there's a show similar to the Prodigal Son.
Yes.
Cool.
What's his name? Jacob, Saltburn guy. Jacob Elordi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he just got casted as Frankenstein.
Oh, interesting.
So he will be here in our hometown.
Whoa.
Vibing.
Weird.
Filming.
Filming, vibing.
Comment down below if you want some more set stories.
Yeah, I like it. That's why we wanted to do this video too, because Sophia had a lot of set stories she wanted to share, so might as well. She's got like first-hand experience of the behind the scenes of this movie.
That's so true. And I also did a horror movie 2 months ago. I believe starring Percy Hines White.
I don't know who that is.
And the artsy guy from Wednesday.
Right. Yeah.
The kind of like
right.
gloomy guy, like he's depressing.
Right.
Which was not the first project I did with Percy Hines White. That's a whole other story. But it was from the director of The Nun.
Ooh, that's cool.
So that will be coming out next year. So definitely, and then I can actually talk to you about that later.
Cool. I like it. All right, books.
Oh, my favorite part.
I want to start just because I think Sophia has more to say about this book than I do, because I haven't actually read it yet. But it's called Tender is the Flesh, and it kind of goes to that point about cannibalism, because in this dystopian world, it is actually not okay to eat animal, and instead it is required, or, you know, the norm is that you eat humans. So Sophia read this book and said, Emily, you'll like it, you should read it. So I will be reading it, and I'll let you know how it is. But because she enjoyed it, and her Goodreads said she enjoyed it, I'm also going to recommend it. Is there anything they should know before they read it?
Well, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was good. I describe it as like George Orwell on crack.
Okay, I like it.
Because it's so nonchalant in its writing that's the disturbing part. Passing off these crazy acts. I really don't want to spoil anything for anybody on this one. You have to go into this book blind. I just knew that all animal meat was diseased and they had to turn to eating human flesh. And then by the end I was like, I'm so depressed.
We love those books. Perfect.
Yeah, trigger warning, animal abuse. Very sad. But that's all.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, I'll give it a try then. Sounds good to me.
Alright, I think I went a little bit more literal.
That's fine.
Online. Because I think there are some themes that you can pull from that, but I think I really have to sit down and look at it. My choices. I have 2 books here, but that's because it is a series. I pulled Adam Caesar's Clown in the Cornfield and Clown in the Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives. You're gonna be like, what is your problem? So this is literally Thanksgiving.
Really?
No, but yes. So what happens is this family moves into a small town, and they found out that the only factory that was kind of like keeping this small town flourishing was burnt down. And on the top of the factory was this clown, and it's like the town mascot. His name is Friendo. kind of the clown. And basically, it's like a battle between adults and kids on whose fault it was that this factory had burned down. And then somebody dressed in a friendo costume starts terrorizing it. Does it sound familiar?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit familiar.
Very 80s, very slasher. But it also has that like modern technology that Eli Roth likes to do. Like he uses YouTube, you know, Twitter, I was gonna say Vine.
You're a little late on that one.
TikTok, that stuff. Eli Roth likes to kind of incorporate that modern media, and I think Adam Caesar does a good job of doing that as well. Also, the clown to weapons ratio and creativity was an automatic 5-star for me.
Oh my god.
So if you like Thanksgiving, basically this is the same thing, but clowns.
Perfect. Sold. Sign me up.
Book 3 comes out next year.
Hashtag not sponsored. Amazing. Well, thank you. That's a good choice. I did not know what the book was about, but, you know, now sounds interesting. Yeah, perfect. Let us know if you liked it. And let us know what you want us to watch and talk about next time. I know me personally, and I sent you this today, I would love to do something on the Wendigo. I just got a bunch of books from the library about the Wendigo. I have now in my possession all of the books from the library on the Wendigo, so we should probably do something on that.
I would be down. Maybe I have a couple movies. I don't know. Wendigo movies can get weird.
Yeah, I found that website. Maybe we could take some look into some of those movie ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. We'll throw around some ideas, but yeah, let us know what you would like us to talk about. And big news as well, we are going to be putting this podcast onto Spotify, so you can listen to us on the go. And we're going to get a little bit better in our uploading and filming somehow, some way. We'll do it somehow.
See you next time on Spirit Box Sessions.